with his inspirational segment. Now we're going to go from inspiration to desperation and talk about the New York baseball teams. It has been a disaster. The Mets got wiped out all weekend long by Pittsburgh, got annihilated 3 in a row. The Yankees have lost 9 out of 10, gave up 10 runs in 1 inning yesterday. It has been a disaster in New York baseball. Joe, everything gets magnified in New York. Let's talk about the desperation, which is New York baseball, Mets and Yankees.
Well, Howie, first of all, I know you're loving this because you are a Boston Red Sox fan. So the more that the Yankees go down, the better it is for you. But yeah, no, I believe, and I go way back with the Yankees and the Mets for that matter. My first game I ever remember was 1960 when the Yankees lost a heartbreaking World Series to the Pittsburgh Pirates. They outscored them 1,000,000 runs to 1 or 2, and yet they still lost. But that's that Bill Mazeroski home run, where you see that famous picture of Yogi Berra backing up into the ivied walls and watching the ball sail over his head. But getting to this year's teams, it all starts with pitching, I think. And the Yankees are in desperate need of pitching. CC Sabathia, who was once an ace and is paid to be an ace, unfortunately has seen better days. I believe he's 2-6 as we speak, which is not what you expect from an ace. Every time he gets on the mound, I've been cringing. But I guess they have to learn how to spell relief too. And their infield in particular, a man like Chase Headley, who was once, I believe, a Gold Glover or close to it, is making errors like crazy. The other cohort that he has, the shortstop, Didi Gregorius, I think he's somewhat overwhelmed with the picture in New York because he's replacing a legend. And also a couple injuries to Ellsbury, and Beltran has not really played the way we expected him to play. So all in all, maybe the Yankees will win 82, 83 games this year. But surprisingly, that may actually put them right in the race because the American League East is somewhat weak this year. There's not a single team, as you and I were talking earlier tonight, not a single team that seems to be running away with this thing.
How about the Mets, Joe?
Well, the Mets are a whole other story. They are definitely a team, in my eyes, on the rise. They've got some great young arms. Maybe some are not quite ready to be in the majors, but they were force-fed because of a couple injuries. I do believe they need a shortstop. They have a David Murphy who really hits very well, but I think he's still trying to find a position. But they are definitely on the rise, and I think they kind of hit a little wall last week, starting to realize that maybe they were playing slightly over their heads. But I do believe they're in the correct direction. I think they are moving faster than the Yankees at this point. Within a year or two, or maybe even next year, they may actually make the playoffs as well. And New York is starving for that because, unlike people who I can't fathom in Chicago, who have gone 100 and how many years waiting for a World Series, we need it now in New York. We work by New York minutes. So, we're waiting for probably the Mets to come across real fast. But yeah, right now there's a transition period, and they need some help. What are your feelings about this, Howie?
Well, I do think the Yankees did have a good streak where they went 18-6. I think they've they just everything is kind of like broken down. For instance, Michael Pineda was for a month and a half. He looked like a Cy Young Award winner, and he's got lit up the last 2 starts. Losing Tanaka was a big blow because he was pitching great. But their defense has been horrendous. This Didi Gregorius makes a bonehead play almost every game. His lack of making a key play opened the floodgates for those 2 huge innings. Stephen Drew, you can't have a guy hitting 170, especially not in New York. He's awful. And they really, Beltran has picked up, but you know what? They have to get Tanaka back. They have to, Pineda has to, get back to being Pineda. But you know what? The Yankees probably will remain in the hunt because the AL East is so lousy. As far as the Mets go, they need a bat desperately. David Wright was diagnosed with spinal stenosis. Who knows when he's going to get back? They're waiting a couple more weeks for Travis d'Arnaud. They need Kadaya to step up. They need Granderson to step up. But the good thing you could say about the Mets is they have excellent young pitching. Harvey's had one bad start. DeGrom is excellent. Syndergaard looks like the real deal. Steven Matz is only maybe a month away. So the Mets' young pitchers at least gives you hope for the future. All right, with that, I can't brag about my Red Sox because they've been lousy as well. So no bragging on the Red Sox. They stink as well. Let's pick up Christine Filardi for another. Let's give it up for Joe. Great job, Joe.